Hello, I'm Andy Teach, host of Andy's Awesome Adventures, and welcome to the Red History Museum in Dubrovnik, Croatia. The museum opened in 2019, and it showcases Croatia's modern history. In fact, this is Croatia's first interactive exhibit documenting everyday life under Yugoslav Communist rule. There are several rooms that tell a story. This room features a revolutionary type of kiosk that was designed to have modules easily added to or taken away. It could be used as a newsstand, flower shop, etc. The Tomos motorcycle factory manufactured mopeds and outboard engines and was one of the leading exporters of outboard engines in the world. The Yugo automobile was first made in Yugoslavia in 1980 and was introduced to the US market in 1985. The museum is divided up into three parts: Socialism in Theory, Socialism in Practice, and Socialism in Memory. In fact, the museum is located inside an old socialist factory. Here we learn about socialism in theory. You will learn how the Communist Party started in Croatia and how they operated during and after World War II. Croatia was part of the Communist-ruled Yugoslav Federation from 1945 to 1991. Yugoslavian communism, led by Josip Broz Tito, broke away from the Soviet model and developed its own. Here we examine socialism in practice as it related to everyday life. We learn about the effect of communism on design and architecture to music and sex education. In the 1940s, there was an economic slowdown due to Yugoslavia's conflict with the USSR. There was a decade of high growth starting in 1952 due to investments by the state. The economic miracle ran from 1953 to 1963, but the standard of living was still low. In the early 1960s, there was a need for economic growth with the goal of weakening the state's influence. Businesses were allowed greater freedom. The reforms led to higher prices and lower employment. From 1965 to 1971, 62,000 people were employed in Croatia, while 107,000 Yugoslav citizens found employment abroad. Tito achieved cult status in Yugoslavia. His photograph was in all public spaces, squares and streets, and institutions were named after him. Here we learn about the dark side of socialism in practice through the secret Yugoslav agencies that made sure everyone was, quote, happy, unquote. The Catholic Church was a threat to communist authorities, so the atheist Communist Party sought to eliminate the influence of the anti-communist church. In the post-war years, a new calendar was introduced that completely removed religious holidays. Tito died in May 1980. Although not seen here, there was also a memories tunnel or hallway dedicated to socialism in memory. There are various photos depicting memories of living under socialism, both good and bad. Both Croatia and Slovenia declared their independence from Yugoslavia in June 1991. The Croatian War for Independence, also known as the Homeland War, was fought from 1991 to 1995 between Croat forces loyal to the government of Croatia and the Serb-controlled Yugoslav People's Army and local Serb forces. The war ended with a Croatian victory.